Hello, I'm Maria Davies. Welcome back to part 4 of my video tips on public speaking training. Now we're going to get into something that will make you look really professional now. It's also something that people do fear very much, and that is people from the audience asking questions. The reason people fear it is because, of course, they may not know the answers to the questions, and that's a big worry for a lot of people. The other thing that people fear is people just shouting out and heckling them. So we'll speak about that as well. First thing we'll go through is questions. How do you deal with questions? Well, the first thing you need to do is when someone asks you a question from the floor, the first thing you always say is, "That's a really good question." That's the first thing you say, even if you know the answer, because that gives you time to formulate the answer and think about the question. So what you would say is, "That's a really good question, and I'd like to start by answering that," and then you continue with your answer. The other thing you could do to give yourself even more time, and especially if you're not quite sure how to answer, is to say, "That's a really good question, and I'd like to ask the audience if anybody here has experience of this, or anybody here has an opinion." Or you could even say to the person asking the question, "That's a really good question. What are your views on that?" So you're throwing it back to them, because whilst the audience member is answering, then it gives you more time to formulate your particular answer, and your answer could then be a response to what they have said. So those are a couple of tips for dealing with questions. The other thing is, never be afraid of saying that you don't know the answer. It's far better to say, "That's a really good question, and I'm not 100% certain of the answer to that. So let me find out. If you'll give me your details when I finish speaking, I will come back to you with that answer." Because you don't want to say, "Oh, well, the answer is," and you give an answer and it's incorrect, because somebody in the audience may know that it's wrong. So don't take that chance. And finally, how do you deal with people who are heckling you? Well, remember that when people shout out, what they usually want to do is to get some attention for themselves. So just the simple fact of asking them for their opinion can help you an awful lot in dealing with hecklers, because you're giving them what they want. However, the one thing you do not want to do is to lose control of your audience. So keep listening to these video tips, because we'll also deal with how you keep control of your audience whenever you've got questions going on as well. So all of these things combined, if you keep listening, you keep learning, and you visit my website www.laddersofsuccess.com, and you get the free tips from there that will come to you regularly, all of this will combine to make you a much more professional speaker, just as those of us are who do this for a living.